That's naive. There is a passage in Zechariah 11, which is the only physical description of the Antichrist I'm aware of in the Bible. Woe to the idol shepherd. That's not lazy, that's the false worship kind of idol. Woe to the idol shepherd that leaveth the flock. A sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. This leads to a conjecture that the Antichrist, who apparently suffers from a head wound, is thought to be dead and comes back to life, but he apparently has an impaired arm, his right arm, apparently. His sword shall be upon his arm, don't know if it's right or left, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. He's blind in one eye. And it's not Moshe Dayan, that was the wrong eye, he was a left eye. But anyway, the point is, maybe the identity of his followers reflects that by having something on their forehead and the right arm to claim an identity. That's a possibility. There's even a more provocative possibility we'll come to in a minute, but that's one possibility I wanted you to be aware of. The 666. Walid Shabbat was watching a movie called The Kingdom of Heaven. It's a movie about the Crusader period, but they redid the research, and all the tribes that are fighting there in the movie, it reminded Walid of something he knew as a kid growing up. That in Islam, if you're at war, it's traditional to have a headband with Allah on it and on the right arm. And they did that in the movie. That reminded Walid something he had forgotten. The Shahadatan, it's a declaration of allegiance to Allah and Muhammad that's worn by millions on their forehead or their right arm. And when he saw that in the movie, it reminded him of that, and he remembered the passage in Revelation 13. And the Greek, it's the right arm or the right side that's at issue here, and it's a badge of servitude and so forth. So now he went back and took a closer look at Revelation 13:18. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. And here's wisdom. Well, that's pretty straightforward. We know what wisdom, broad and full of intelligence and all that sort of stuff. That's good. The word count is actually the word reckon, or decide by voting. Really? Not counting like numerically, it's attributing. And it is the word number is arithmos in the Greek, and that word in Greek can mean one of two things. It can mean an indefinite multitude. A number of people came over. Some number, some group. It's used as an indefinite multitude, or it also is used for a precise number, like 13 or 17, see. So it says it is the number of a beast. Now it can be, now the word number here occurs 3 times. And that word in the Greek can mean an indefinite thing or a very precise thing, your choice from context. Okay, so man is pretty straightforward, as anthropos, being a human, a man. And his number is 666, but it turns out that's not in the text. There are 3 letters in the text. And here's where it gets pretty interesting. Let's take a look at this. If we look at the papyri and look at it more closely, and you look at this, you'll discover there are 3 letters there that people presume are Greek. If it's Greek, it goes from left to right, and you've got those 3 letters. So this is a fragmentary, late 3rd, 4th century papyri. And so you have those 3 letters there. But it's a presumption that they're in Greek. In the book of Revelation, it says John wrote down what he saw. All through that, he wrote down what he heard or wrote down what he saw. Here he wrote down what he saw. What did he see? He saw those 3 things. Okay? He's doing this, by the way, 6 centuries before Muhammad. Okay, let's keep this in mind. If we take a closer look at those things from Codex Vaticanus, 350 AD, it turns out, upon examining these things more closely, there's some subtleties here that suggest maybe it's not Greek in the first place. John wrote what he saw. Now, if it's Arabic, it flows from the right to the left, not from the left to the right. And this, of course, many centuries before Muhammad. And it turns out that if you know Arabic, that those first two letters say in the name of Allah. And it's written as a slightly upward angle. The two swords that follow it are the traditional symbol of Islam. That's not an X, it's two swords, is in the view as a conjecture. We're not sure, but it's a possibility. But it has some very, very interesting implications if that is Arabic. Because if you look at Arabic, that word can lay on its side. It can be at angles. It's on an angle on the flag of Iraq itself, by the way. So that's kind of fun. So that's the word Allah. So this is an alternative translation of Revelation 13:18 that Walid suggests is a possibility. He's not selling it. He's just highlighting from his scholastic background in Arabic and Islam to recognize this translation is legitimate. I'm going to show you. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding decide who the multitude of the beast is. For it is the multitude of a man, in other words, Muhammad, and his multitude are in the name of Allah. Wow. It's possible he's right. We don't know. But it is a whole nother complexion, especially for there's lots of other reasons that people are increasingly becoming to the realization that Islam is emerging as the primary warfare against the God of the Bible. You've got to beware of all the deceit that's prevalent in the press and in our culture. Allah is not the Arabic name for God. That's a lie they promote. Allah is a specific God. When you translate the Quran into French or German or whatever, that's a word you don't translate. It's the name of the God they worship. And it happens to be the moon god, as exemplified by a lot of reasons in the history and the rest of it. No, it is not a religion of peace. The Quran is a warrior code. There are hundreds of commands to kill Jews and Christians throughout the Quran. The goal of Islam is to force itself on the entire world, by force if necessary. In Islam, it's encouraged to lie, if it's in the interest of Islam. They celebrate an event by Muhammad. He made a treaty with his own tribe, the Quraysh tribe, of peace. But as soon as he was strong enough, he wiped them out. And that's not just a point of history, it's something they celebrate in Islam as a victory. And when Yasser Arafat would make speeches, and the English had never matched the Arabic, if you had people that knew Arabic and saw the speech, the English release was nothing but bore no resemblance. And he would tell his followers, don't worry about my peaceful things. There's a name in Quran for that deceit that Muhammad uses. And Yasser Arafat used to brag that he was doing the same thing Muhammad did, is to lie in the interests of Islam until we're strong enough to swat them, see? And so the point is, most of what you've heard about Islam hides the real truth.